Today's episode is brought to you by AOS Kitchens, the South's leading outdoor kitchen design and installation specialists.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Meet and Greet Barbecue podcast. Today we have a second episode with Mat Blak, who's going to talk to us all about barbecue techniques, and it's just a great catch up. So without much further ado, here's Matt.
And just more so on the kind of where you are now in terms of barbecue. So obviously where you've been, obviously years of experience and honing your craft in a commercial kitchen. How do you what am I trying to say? How are you finding it now with perhaps not the freedom's the right word, but just I don't know, just playing with fire, right? And still trying to cook these amazing things, but not in the confines of a commercial stainless steel kitchen type thing.
So, and it is a freedom, and that is the perfect analogy of what I do. At Caravan, I was really lucky. The style of food that we created there is a style of food that we called free cooking. And free cooking is cooking without boundaries. So throughout my whole career, especially in France, you don't go out of that lane, especially in a 2-star Michelin kitchen. Like, if you ever suggested putting chili with fish, they would cut your hand off and shove it up your ass and make you eat it. That was the severity of doing that. They took that as a huge insult if you were going to work without those boundaries. And they looked at New Zealand style cuisine, which is what we call free cooking, or there's a word that's thrown around, fusion, which I don't really like very much, but it has been a way to describe our cuisine. We're a very young country. We have probably 250 years worth of written context, but we didn't really have an identity of cuisine. And it's just now where chefs like myself have gone away from New Zealand and they've learned all these skills and they've come back to New Zealand and said, right, this is ours, this is what we do. And using sort of ingredients that we have at home. So yes, there is an amazing freedom now of what I can do, and I've been very free, but I've also learned throughout these years to respect the cuisine that you are trying to, I suppose, have freedom around. So if I am doing something Spanish, or something that's Spanish inspired, I'll do the honor by using really good quality Spanish products, a really good olive oil, a really good olives, amazing anchovies, and spend the money, beautiful Galician steak from the Basque Country, all these type of things that will give honor to the country. I don't like seeing, and you'll see this a lot where some people don't really understand the pairings of dishes that go together. So you'll see somebody go, right, I'm going to do gochujang with pot stickers and beef, and we're going to have some chicken stock in there, and I'm going to do it with anchovies, and it doesn't give honor to anybody. Yeah, those flavors might be nice and they might be good together, but it doesn't really honor any place that it's from. So that's kind of the way that I try and look at the cuisine that I cook now, giving honor to the country, but still having slight twists. I think doing fusion cuisine or any type of things where you're mixing cuisines, it takes a masterful hand. And even now, like, I will put my hand up and say that I am nowhere near call myself a master on any cuisine at all. I have a lot of knowledge, and as I sort of started at the podcast and we were talking about mistakes and making mistakes, I am the product of millions of mistakes, of doing things again and again and again and again until I've mastered it. It's a muscle memory for me now. It's not it is a skill, but it's been learned through repetition.
On that point of kind of making mistakes and learning more about it, we all go through it. We talk on the podcast often about kind of barbecue failures because that's how we grow, even if they're funny or when you mess up. So, on that point, do you have any particular failures that stick out to you that made you learn a lot, or were particularly kind of funny but still shape what you do now?
Yeah, man. Like I remember those first times with DJ Barbecue, and I had no idea how to do what we wanted to do commercially. And so I remember the first time that we did it, we pre-cooked all the pork. So we were doing pork butts. We pre-cooked all the pork, then we refrigerated it,
Right.
and then we decided to pull it then reheat it. I don't know if you've ever pulled a cold pork butt before in a festival with 1,000 people waiting to eat their
Oh
sandwich.
my God.
That was I laugh at that. I don't think Christian will ever laugh at that because it was terrifying. He was great though. He was working the line so good. And he was like, "Come on, Matt." And I'm like trying to just pull. Like we're doing like one sandwich every 5 minutes. It was like, "Oh my God, this is terrible." That was one of the times. I think that my brisket cooks definitely are the ones that are probably the most hardest and the most embarrassing and the most toughest. I've got a real thing against briskets just purely because I don't think that it has enough flavor of what I look for in a piece of beef. And I don't think it's because of that. I think it's because I can't cook it. And I try to hide that by saying, well, I just don't like brisket, where in reality, absolute crap at cooking it. I just don't think I've got the patience. Hot and fast, that's the way that I kind of do it. I did it by accident once. I was like, oh, it's soft. What the hell's going on? And then, I watch people like Elkie and the others who have done it hot and fast. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. I know how to do hot and fast. Cooking is 50% mistakes and 50% winging it. That's a little chef's tip for all of you out there. You know, it's always those ones where there's been a few places that I've been to, and everyone's like, this is quite charred." I was like, that's the way we do it in kitchens, and everyone's like, "Wow, okay, wow, amazing." Yeah, don't come to my master classes; they're terrible.
I'm sure that's not the case.
No, it's not.
So what's your kind of setup now then, in terms of, your cooking equipment? Do you still have a green egg has that been expanded into other pieces of equipment?
Yeah, so like again, that's a really great question because again, I'm using it more now for content and work and menu development and stuff. So my setup out the back, again, much to my wife's delight, is that those yoga studios that you can build. So we built one in my garden, not for yoga, but for me to build a kitchen in. So we have two kitchens in our house, which we're really honored about. I She calls it a shed. I call it a studio because I want to sound really chefy and cool. It pretty much is a yoga studio. So I've got that fully decked out with all the stuff in there, and then I've got a big green egg, a Minimax, a Genesis Weber, because a lot of my clients that I work with gas.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not really one of these guys to say, oh, you shouldn't cook on gas or anything like that, because the work that I do is commercial work. So I'm not doing stuff at home to impress other barbecuers. I'm trying to make money as a business. So
Yeah.
I've got a Gosney, I've got a Nowfer as well, wood fire oven, and I'm an ambassador for Ophir, so I have Ophir live fire pit as well, which is really fun. But it's really tough when it's raining all the time. That's the only sort of thing that kind of lets that pit down. That I wish it had a lid or some type of cover that goes over where you could just have that going all the time. And just as an FYI, don't put a marquee over it either.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
And wind really affects it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
You just get that little bit of wind, and all of a sudden you've got
massively.
empty
Either it will
sky.
just go like absolute hot, or you've got sparks over all the wife's laundry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, why have I got all these burn holes in there? I was like, no idea.
Fashion.
Yeah,
No
it's the
idea.
style now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, yeah,
What the
yeah.
kids are down to.
Kim Kardashian was wearing it last week. Yeah.
Yeah. So does that mean obviously you've got a range of sauces, as well? So are you making them in the kitchen at the back?
No, no. So we grew quite big. So I partnered with a really good friend of mine called Steve. He is the Lazy Scientist. That's his brand. He runs his own hot sauce brand. He's an ex-chemist, so he is a scientist by
Yeah.
trade. And he really got into fermentation probably about 8 years ago, and he started his journey into the hot sauce world. So he's got about 15 sauces of his own. But he also just works with other small brands. And I jumped on with him a couple of years ago. I was introduced through a mutual friend, and our relationship has just blossomed into this incredible sort of thing. I couldn't do what I do with the sauces without him. Like he is instrumental 100% to my business. He has been my mentor, my ear on the phone, my listening to my frustrations and my annoyances. He's put up with my constant impatience. And he is the most patient man I've ever met. So yeah, so they're all produced in Croydon, which is South London, and he does that in his own. He's got sort of like a small factory outside of his house where he produces sauces and stuff like this. So yeah, we've got two sauces and a vinegar that we're producing at the moment. So the first one was Black Fire. It's a spice soy chili sauce. It was based on a jerk barbecue rub. That's how it kind of started, but then it just sort of evolved from that. And whenever you're designing a sauce, I take it to a particular place, and then Steve will take it and do the development on it and scale it up. And with scaling, it will always change. It will change the flavor profile. We might have to add water. We might have to add less garlic because, you can't really scale up garlic. If there's one clove in one bottle, you're making 500 bottles, you can't have 500 cloves because it will
Yeah.
just taste of garlic. So there's an element of that. The sauce sort of changed a little bit. So I don't really go, right, that's the finished product. We collaborate on how to get it to a stage where we can make 200, 500, 1,000 bottles when we need to. So that was the first one that I did. We launched that on my mother's birthday, 25th of January, 2024, as an honor to her. And we made 24 bottles, and I didn't sell any. And it was a fucking disaster. And we ticked over 2 months, just like really slowly. We got down to about six bottles, and Steve called me and he goes, "Do you want me to make another run? This time I'll do 48." And I'm just like, "Mate, it's not worth it. Like, we're not
Yeah.
selling anything." Literally that night, I had a message on Instagram from somebody saying, "Hey, I'm at a dinner party. This girl bought your sauce to this dinner party. Can you tell me a little bit about it?" And it was like 10:30 at night. I was about to go to bed. Sent a message. I said, "Hi, by Mat Blak. I'm Mat Blak. Made this during lockdown. It's produced here. Good night." Boom. Anyway, the next day, I gave my email as well. Next day, I got an email from Selfridges, and it was her that said it. So my first retail partner, Selfridges, and I just
Glad.
so that's the point where I sort of like called up Stephen. I was like, "Oh, I just got this message," and that's when he was like, "Going, I can't believe that this has happened. Like, I've been trying to get into Selfridges for 8 years. There's retailers all around the country that would like pay millions to be shelved on there, and this woman saw yours at a party and she wanted to have it. It was incredible, absolutely incredible." And then soon after we got into Fortnum and Mason as well, which was just incredible as well. And then obviously Big Green Egg and all the barbecue shops that we know, they all support me as well, which has just been absolutely brilliant. So then the next one I launched after that was Black Ember, which is a curry tomato sauce, which didn't do as well as I hoped. So I've sort of taken that off the shelf and I've just put that back, and I might bring it out in summer again. We might do a small run. But it didn't sell as well as I wanted it to. And then we released Black Elder, and that was really good. It's a sweet chili pineapple.
I
And
loved it, by the way.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where it was the first chili sauce that I ever experienced when I was a kid, having the Thai sweet chili sauce. And I'll never forget going to a dinner party when I was like 22 years old. I'd never tasted this before, and the lady who was running the dinner party knocked out some cream cheese onto a plate and poured sweet chili sauce all over it, and then just put loads of chips on the plate. Mate, I hammered that plate. I was like, course, it's just the most delicious thing. So I wanted to do something that sort of linked that childhood memory to that. So we did that, and that just exploded. So we've just kept those. And then in December, we launched the maple smoked pineapple vinegar, which pineapple vinegar was my first product that I launched during lockdown. And I never really made a lot of it. And this one has just it's gone insane. It seems like everybody in the barbecue world wants a bit of the maple smoked pineapple vinegar, which is great. So, I found a really cool bottle and I've got like a spray nozzle attachment that you can have and you can spray as something cooks. Its intentions were to sort of cook with pork or chicken or
Yeah.
ham on the barbecue. And it just like everyone bought it for their Christmas ham, everyone. And everyone's sending me pictures of their Christmas ham on Christmas Day. I'm just like, I don't care about your fucking Christmas ham. What my Christmas ham, guys? But it was yeah, that's been just an incredible journey. And I say to anybody that ever wants to get into sauce, just make sure that you don't want to get into it for money. It's all for love.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
for love. Unless you're Heinz, then you're not gonna make shit.
But it sounds like you love it. I mean, just the way you explain it.
I think anything to do with food, it's got to be about passion. I just don't
Yeah,
think it's a industry where you're ever going to make millions from it, unless you sort of, yeah, exploit your labor force or exploit food quality, And
yeah,
I just think that, or you're going to scale and be huge, and I just, I've come to sort of realize going along this where I always thought that when you've got a product and it goes into somewhere like Selfridges or Fortnum's, that you would always go, oh, okay, the next step is Waitrose and Tesco's and stuff like that. But it's a whole different ball game talking to the big supermarkets. And I was really lucky to meet somebody from the supermarkets last year, and she sat me down and was like, "Yeah, don't think you want to get into this yet because you've got to invest so much money to
yeah,
be on those shelves. And it's not just that, it's about marketing to drive people to that product.
Hmm.
And you're talking about making hundreds of thousands, like the guys from Lumberjack. I speak with Brendan quite a bit because I love their story and I love what they do. But talking to them, they were like, "Yeah, we've just like made 150,000 bottles. That makes me physically sick." I'm like, "Oh my God, having that much stock, it's like, geez,
yeah,
that's 70, 80 grand.
yeah,
Like, and
yeah,
that's yeah. The minute that lid goes on, that's a ticking time bomb. It's like you've got a year at best, maybe a year and a half before it runs out. And then, like, if you haven't sold that, that's money out of your pocket.
yeah,
So, yeah, it's a bit of a scary game as well.
It's refreshing though, because the amount of people that we've spoken to that have produced rubs, produced sauces and things, they don't talk about that side of
Mm.
it. And that honesty is really refreshing to hear because I mean, Owen and I looked a few years ago into kind of different ideas that we could do with the podcast, and all of a sudden you start adding it up. And we were saying at the time, how does anybody make anything off it? And I think the secret is that they don't. It's
Yeah,
that passion
yeah,
piece, as long as you're able to feed yourself afterwards, then that's a huge tick at the end of
yeah.
the day.
And that's the thing, and I guess it's the same for you guys. You're like, hopefully, knock on wood, one day you might get a big sponsor come through, but they're going to want their blood for that sponsor. And
Hmm.
that's the whole game that you play, and it's about this ebb and flow of like, okay, if I make 200,000 of that product, I can get it down to like £2 a bottle, for example. And then you've got Tesco, which will order, 150,000, for example, and they will buy it for 250. So in reality, you're making 70, 80K off your spend, but you've got to reinvest that money back into bottles, the labels, the,
yeah,
the
yeah,
plastic bit that goes over the lid, the storage, the logistics to get it from that place to that place, the plastic that goes around it, the boxes that they go into. And you're like, oh, I've got nothing. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's all about passion. But those guys from Lumberjack doing so well, and I'm really, really proud that they have really put our side of the world and our genre on the world stage, because it's really incredible to be part of that, and to be, going through that flow. And I said that to the guys the other day. They didn't really look at themselves like that, but I'm like, you should, because you've opened the eyes to a lot of people in our genre that are really proud of you, but at the same time, new sort of barbecue people or barbecue followers that will look into us and say, hey, this could be quite cool.
If you've been looking or thinking about an outdoor kitchen, then look no further than AOS Outdoor Kitchens.
They are the South's leading outdoor kitchen design and installation specialists.
Their extensive showroom is based just outside Bournemouth on the Dorset-Hampshire border, and as well as numerous in-store displays, also features a live outdoor kitchen where they cook every week on Kamado grills, pizza ovens, and all filmed and shown on YouTube.
They offer a wealth of knowledge on how to transform your patio into the most incredible outdoor dining area, with styles and options to suit every budget, and you can guarantee they will be able to create something perfectly suited to you and your home.
They stock and supply everything that you're going to need for outdoor cooking, including barbecues, Kamado ovens, pizza ovens, outdoor fridges, and every accessory that you would need to become the ultimate outdoor chef.
So if you want to make yourself the envy of your friends and neighbours, get in touch with them today to arrange a consultation and take the first step in transforming your back garden into the most incredible entertainment space.
Visit aoskitchens.co.uk. Yeah, it's an incredible journey they've been on.
Yeah.
We've had them on a couple of times, and I think it was at least 3 years ago. I think the first time, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe.
Such guys, man.
And just the journey from where they are now to obviously from then to now. It's night and day. But they were clearly had a plan, and they were clearly building up to it. And obviously, it's great that they've managed to get to where they are. But like you say, right, all the residual benefit is what it does is it just opens up the awareness around the UK barbecue community and people within that, the products, the chefs, the kind of culture. I think it is always a good thing.
And I think that what the UK barbecue community has done for me and is one to welcome me with open arms into this community, and to be part of this community, and to actually be honored by being part of this community is something that I don't take lightly, and that I am honored every day. Every time that I go out to a festival and I meet the people, and obviously it's very strange for me, because sometimes people just like go on and start talking about my cat and my wife and my son, but I'm very vocal about all of them, but I forget that I do that type of stuff. I was like, oh my God, how do you know are you looking through my keyhole? Know about my cat. And
yeah,
if you look at my grid, 90% of my photos are about my cat. I'm obsessed with him. He's just hilarious. He's the funniest cat. He should be a tuxedo British man. That's what he should be. He advises me, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Just looks down and just nose at me. Should have a monocle and a top hat as well. He's like very distinguished. But yeah, going back to our community, it's growing, and it's just so strong, and it's just so amazing at the moment. I think where we're going, we are definitely, from the people especially that I've spoken to in America, we are going on a trajectory which is in some cases exceeding American barbecue. And I'm really proud of that. And even the Americans will tell me this. And I'm really blown away to be involved in this and to be part of this incredible community. It's humbling for me, especially from the background I do. And I think a lot of the people that I speak to and I work with, I come across to be very humble, and I am very humble, and I try to be really nice because I come from very humble beginnings, and I come from a place from where I had nothing, and now I'm being given the world of everything. I try and give as much back as I can. Hence why I'm wearing.
I was just about to sort of say, notice the collaboration, right, with Tribe and
it
Bird
was
Chef Project and yourself.
just
Please sort of tell us more.
it was just incredible. Like, we started talking about this quite a few months ago, and he's like, "Look, I've wanted to do something Maori and using sort of a Maori design, and it's very difficult in my culture because it is what we call is very tapu or very sacred to use any Māori designs or to use any sort of Māori art or crafts around promoting a business. Because it's not what it's used for. It's very sacred to us, especially the traditions and stuff surrounding that. So coming up with an idea of what we could use as the design, um, it made sense to use an animal. And generally, and because we're surrounded by the beautiful South Pacific Ocean, we've got a lot of like really great animals. And, one of the really unique animals we've got is the hammerhead shark. And they are endemic to the South Pacific, and they go around in these massive shoals, and they are a very sort of close knit and a close tight bond. But one of the most beautiful things is that they never stop swimming. They can't stop swimming. It's impossible because if they stop, they die. And how they breathe is through the consistent swimming. And I found that there was a really beautiful link towards mental health of that is that sometimes when you stop, that's when things happen, and that's when the thoughts start coming in, and your mind starts telling you things, and the whole thing is that to keep going and to keep moving, to keep breathing, to keep existing helps you to process what you're going through, whether it may be anxiety or money troubles, or things are happening at home, or things have happened in the past. It helps you to process those type of things. So it was really crazy because when I did, and I was talking about the hammerhead shark, and it really truly, this wasn't intentional. Then we were doing some videos and we're shooting some sort of pieces to camera in there. And I wanted to sort of like show my tattoos, and these all have a story, and they're amazing. But on my hands is that, and that is the mangopare, which is the same as what's on the back here. I don't know if you can
Oh
get
yeah,
that,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
the hammerhead shark. But and this wasn't intentional, but like this represents my mental health journey, and that is it pushing the bad stuff away. So it's swimming against, and then that small square there pushes all the bad stuff away. And that's why I got it put onto my hand to give myself a constant reminder that you are strong enough to fight any mental battle that you go through.
Yeah.
And so when I went through this whole piece and I started filming, and we were filming parts of my tattoo, I was editing it, and I sort of had a look on I was like, oh my God, I've got one on my hand. It's mad. Yeah, completely forgot about it, even though I did it every day. But yeah, but yeah, it's been an incredible thing. We've raised, I think it was about £360 for Burnt Chef Project, and we just found out today that that will cover two people to train, to go out and to train up to 1,000 people about mental health techniques to help them get through their day to day. So, for me, to be able to do that and to be part of that is such an incredible thing to be able to give back to my industry. And to thank you to everyone that has bought one of these t-shirts. Like, I know I've messaged you all like all the time to say thank you so much for supporting and going out there and doing it. But yeah, it's been a really incredible journey. And yeah, we were just featured today or yesterday on the Under Season Barbecue Show podcast as
Yeah.
well. They did a beautiful shout out, and we sent them out a couple of t-shirts as well, and they're wearing it with pride. So that was really nice to have that around the world as well. So it's just, yeah, it's mad, mad.
And where can people pick the shirts up? Let's give them a
Yeah, if
plug.
you go
Let's give them a
onto,
plug, right?
yeah, of course. If you go onto Tribe Apparel, they're selling them on their website. But I believe that February is going to be the last month that we're going to be doing it, and then we're just going to shut that down for a little bit. But yeah, so you've got until the end of Feb, so plenty of time and just know that it like we take no profits from it. All the profits they go straight to Burnt Chef. We just wash our own face with buying the t-shirt and doing the printing. That's it.
So, Matt, we're now going to move into something that we do with every guest on the podcast. Regular listeners will know we've put loads of time and money into something we like to call barbecue bingo. So, if Owen's laptop has been very kind, you should be able to now see a spinning wheel of ingredients. So,
Yes.
every guest we ask to spin the wheel. Whatever it lands on, we ask you to go away and cook and talk us through what you're thinking might be a good fit. And then we also ask every guest to leave an ingredient for the next person. So, listeners who aren't watching on YouTube, just to run through what we've currently got on there, we've got things like scallops, rabbit, padron peppers, frog's legs, tripe, kangaroo, monkfish, chicken hearts, blue cheese, alligator, beef cheeks, granulated garlic, marshmallow, tri-tip, and then something that we call my signature dish. So if it lands on that, we ask you to cook what you're best known for. So from
Hmm.
your perspective, what would be your signature dish?
I think that what I'm known for is two dishes actually. So one is my rewena with onion butter, which is a Maori potato bread that we do, and we use the potato to ferment the bread, or my sour orange curry.
Ooh, don't think that sounds interesting. I've never heard of a sour orange curry.
Yeah, it was something that I created when I first started doing supper clubs, when I first left Caravan in 2022. And it is a mixture of techniques using like a rendang base, but actually cooking it out like a jungle curry. And it just turned out incredible. And I've sort of demoed it around the country ever since then, ever since 2022.
Wow. Okay, right. I'll quick spin. Is there anything on there that particularly takes your fancy or something you particularly like to avoid? Is it all
Oh,
standard?
it's yeah. I can't stand tripe. Tripe is my like. Oh my God, I can't eat it. I can't put it in my mouth. Everything else is like, yeah, bring it on.
Okay, let's see what we get.
Please not tripe. Please not tripe. Please not tripe. Oh yes, this is. Oh yeah, yeah,
Chicken hearts.
yeah, yeah. This that's you're right up my road. This is what I love. I'm not a great fan of offal. However, I love chicken hearts. I love chicken livers. I absolutely adore foie gras, and I know I'm not allowed to, but I am a fat 52-year-old chef, so I'm allowed to. Yeah.
Great. Well, we'd love to see what you do with chicken hearts. What would you like to leave for future guests?
So a ingredients that I have used for years, and I actually train out at my master classes. And it can be quite polarizing for some people. Some people have gone, oh wow, like I would never do that. And some people are like, oh my God, it's an epiphany. Like that's the greatest thing that I've ever tried. But I want to leave a product called Ketjap Manis.
Wow. What
Uh,
is that?
It's
and
an
how do you spell it?
Indian sweet soy sauce.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the way that I would use it is that I would char grill a steak, and I mean real hard char. So you've cooked it indirect, you've got it to the right specification that you like. I generally like my ribeyes to be more medium,
Hmm.
just purely because of the fat. It
Yeah.
renders down perfectly. And then as it comes off, just before you rest it, you brush it just with the light brushing of the ketchup mayonnaise on both sides, leave it to rest, slice it, put it in your mouth, hold yourself because you are going to ejaculate. And that's the
And that's
ingredient.
the Matt Black promise.
That is the Matt Black promise. Women will need a wet floor sign, men need to hold themselves. Yeah,
I'll say my wife said something similar to me once, but I didn't learn the first time, so maybe this time I'll get it right.
exactly. Exactly.
So how do you spell it? Sorry, so I can add it in.
Sure, it's uh, KET
Yeah.
JAP. That's
Okay.
ketjap, and
Yeah.
then Manis MANIS.
Perfect. Great. Well, Matt, look, I suppose as we come to the end of this recording today, is there anything that we haven't covered yet that you'd like to talk about? I mean, it's been an amazing story so far, so thank you ever so much.
Um, no, no, I think that we've covered most things. Yeah, I just like if you see me out and about, like please come up and please come and say hello. I'm very approachable. Yeah, don't be afraid. The only thing I would just recommend is that just be afraid of how much I talk and how much shit that I talk. I'm trying to really hold back for a lot of the inappropriateness. Please believe me that I spent 35 years in a kitchen with no windows, so we had nothing else to talk about apart from inappropriate shit. But I promise to make you laugh, and I promise that we'll have a good chat.
Perfect. And where can people find you on socials?
Oh, yeah, cool. It's Mat Blak, so it's MAT BLAK, no C. I'm on Instagram. I think I'm on TikTok. It's not really great on TikTok. I haven't really updated that for years. And I'm on good because I'm 52 years old. Of course, I'm on Facebook as well, because that's where all us 50 and over, where we do our hard work. Those groups, the local and like the Essex group, because I live in Essex. So, that's where I want to go do most of my work, complaining about those potholes, talking about that fucking roundabout. That's what 52-year-old men do these days. Yeah, that's where I find my fun. Sorry.
Yeah, love it. Well, thank you ever so much for coming onto the podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you, and hopefully we get to catch up with you soon in person.
100%. Thank you so much for having me on, guys. And thank you all for listening to the story of Mat Blak. I really apologize for bursting your eardrums for the last 45 minutes. They did say to me at the start, go for it. And I did apologize. So my biggest
So
thank
are
you.
you going to see us out with a bit of beatbox?
No. No way. Do you know how many people have asked me to do beatbox? There's absolutely no way. I am terrible at it and I look ridiculous. So thank you for offering.
I thought I'd ask one last time.
Brilliant.
Thanks for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks
Cheers,
so
Matt.
much. Cheers.
Cheers, matey.
That's it for the second part of this two-part special with Mat Blak. Absolute legend. Really, really enjoyed talking with Matt, and I hope you enjoyed listening. That is actually the end of season 7. I can't believe it already, but end of season 7. So thank you ever so much. Thank you to AOS Kitchens, our sponsor. And we should hopefully see you soon as we move into episode and seasons 8 and beyond. Until next time, keep on grilling.
Today's episode of the Meet and Greet Barbecue podcast is brought to you by AOS Outdoor Kitchens. They are the South's leading outdoor kitchen design and installation specialists.